Yeah, and with the Vi getting taken away, Hacker, he's most likely going to default to something like that Wukong, but we still have the Annie up and available for FPX, Care playing that utility role, enabling either Xiaolaohu or LWX to step up as that carry, but that does mean the Aphelios is going to be left up and open for LP, and we see that this Aphelios champion is becoming quite the problem, where I feel like there's no other ADC that's going to be able to match his presence from early to late game. Like, this champion's just a very overall good, has a good kit, and especially when it comes to his item spikes, I feel like 2 items pretty much does it for Aphelios, when the traditional ADC like the Jinx and the Zeri needs to have those 3.
I think that's the big difference, right, between now and MSI, because at MSI, Jinx really was the answer, and I feel like Jinx was the stronger of the 2. But with the new items since MSI, Aphelios comes online a lot earlier, and Jinx often, the game's ended before Jinx kind of becomes the carry that you need her to be. We are going to have fairly standard rotations here, though, as the Ahri to answer the Annie. Very standard mid lane. The Xayah Rakan going to come on through. LP going to have that Aphelios. And Wei grabs himself the Wukong in the jungle that we talked about before already. So we'll see what jungler is going to be banned away. Karzik's taken off the board. Vi already banned. Maokai already banned. We are starting to get through that pool a little bit. That's Poppy, Sejuani, Nocturne, these kind of picks that not necessarily seen from Hacker specifically. I mean, Hacker's even played Lee Sin, he's played the Xin Zhao. I feel like there's a lot. And in fact, they decide to go for a top lane ban instead.
Yeah, RNG saving that counter position for Breed, I'm assuming, in that top lane 1v1, because Xiaolaohu, he's forced to blind pick, so hopefully he's not going to fall into the traps of either the Sion or the Gragas getting locked in blind, because like you said, Breed does have that sneaky Fiora up his sleeve. But my question is what is Hacker going to pick for this jungle position? Because I feel like he sees the most success when he's given setup, which is within the Vi and the Wukong. But this time, those champions have been taken off the board, and we need something that can close the distance to allow Qiuqiu to get his hands onto the carries and have a bit of mobility.
Nocturne, we mentioned, could be a lock-in here. We need a jungler and a top laner from FPX, and the Nocturne will be locked in. So Hacker having a bit of carry potential behind him. What are they willing to blind pick in the top side? That Fiora could come out if Sion is locked in. I don't know if you fancy it against the Gragas, but you don't need to. There's the Sion. Is there? What's Breathe willing to pick? Could just go for a tank matchup. We've seen Breathe play plenty of tanks this split, and it will be the Ornn that's locked in the end. Just to add to the scaling of this Aphelios, we talked about basically this composition earlier on today for Top Esports, where it is all about the Aphelios. On the other side, though, FPX, they've got a very different style of composition.
Yeah, FPX locking in the Nocturne, so the pressure is on for Hacker in this game 1 to get his fingers onto the carries of RNG and really close up the lights to allow Qiuqiu to also close the gap between him and the enemy team. But my biggest question is going to be Care on this Annie, because we've seen him play this champion multiple times, but sometimes not utilizing the amount of potential that you can find in those side lanes. This Annie champion kind of falls flat, especially sometimes burning that flash and not having that flash available. You will just get slowly picked apart by RNG, and this time around the Ahri and the Wukong getting locked in for Wei and Tang is something that they're very comfortable on. So this is stock and standard RNG coming into this game 1 with that Ornn in their pockets as well. So once again, it's all about the skirmish that they're going to be able to find, especially around that level 6. But I think this Ornn coming into this match, he's going to struggle a little bit, because when these ultimates gets used by Hacker, closing the lights, I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to find his hands onto the enemy carries.
Breathe getting the classic RNG treatment, right? He's full on Longshing up at the top side. He's a tank. He's the weak side. He just has to try and survive, as FPX definitely could focus on that top side, but it's always a risky strategy focusing top side in this meta, especially against the Aphelios. Do you want to give him freedom in the laning phase? Do you want to let that Aphelios just stack up gold, stack up abilities here? LP certainly has the potential to carry if you allow him to do so. We're on Summoner's Rift here for our second series of the day. RNG going to be bringing it to the table here against FPX. And I feel like RNG probably the favorite.
Putting that river ward down, so that is going to deny a bit of that potential of happening. So we'll have to wait and see.
Knock up onto Lumao here, and the feathers are there as well. Ignite down in his first blood. Jojo ticks it out with the Ignite, burns Lumao through, and FPX, the Phoenix, is online. There's a flash forwards for the Charm from Tango, and Care has no way out of this one. And the first blood answered now in the mid lane, with the kill credit going over to Wei. So good response from RNG to find some presence on the map, and that'll get them the top scuttle as well. Do anything after the flash charm. Let's take another look at the 2v2.
This is a very interesting resolution, but like I said, Qiu landing that 2 Ws onto Luma as he was just a little bit overextended on the Norlis, and a very beautiful charm coming out of Hang Yuan. So
finds him with a hook. There's no summoners for this Xayah. His LP moves in, but the feathers are enough. Jojo's there tanking, and Wei's the one to go down. It looked so good to start for RNG, but FPX, I mean, Hacker didn't even move off Drake.
They're gonna take this dragon where Chuchu, he's popping off this game.
That's the Tippers coming down onto Lumao as well. Hacker will finish the job as Care grabs the kill. This is beautiful from FPX and kind of disrespectful from RNG.
Has Chuchu missed a Rakan W this game? I don't think so, but you see Tangyun getting caught out of position, and we have flashes committed from both the mid and jungle onto Tangyuan, so that is just a bit of a disrespectful rotation coming out of the mid laner of RNG, specifically with your bottom lane being constantly pushed in.
It's going to be tough. LWX does have the Feather Storm available. Jojo moving down. 2v3. Can they survive? LWX, you've got to keep your eyes on him. Uses the Blade Caller already. TP going to be channeled. Does Featherstorm use to keep himself alive? Lumao tanks too much. No! 1 HP. Walks out somehow. The anchor to the wall will get him out to safety. Care wants a little bit more. No flash available on him. It's just a few seconds away. And it's enough time for Tangyuan to get out to safety with his Spirit Rush, with his flash. RNG, though, they want to make something happen right here. Triple blast going, they're looking for Hacker. Wei can use his stealth, steals away the Gromp, and Hacker flashes immediately. TP as well. In the top side is FPX. Now 5 strong, force 2 TPs of their own. The Cyclone denies Chocho's entry into the play, but it's enough to find Lumao. Call of the Forge Gods turn it around. Hacker to go down, and LP is free firing. This could be the fight for RNG to turn the game around. Xiaolahu forced the flash. LWX though pulls the feathers, can't find the route. Wei goes in and the charm is there, but Featherstorm comes out to answer. Forced to flash and take it down anyway. Wei grabbing the kill as the knockup dodged by Jojo. It's carnage on the Rift, and RNG come out on top.
And call an ambulance, but for FPX, because RNG turned the fight through Breathe, and fighting in that choke, the amount of CC that they were able to gain was absolute value. As you see, all the spells getting committed onto Hacker, where it was 1 flash for 2, but Kerry not having that stun available for the initial engage, and this Rakan desperately trying to get his hands onto the backline. They just made enough distance for LP with the red and white to have as much damage throughout this team fight. Playing front to back, I mean, this is what RNG was looking for exactly.
LWX very confidently stepping forwards there. The Featherstorm trying to save himself, but not enough. Taken down. But no, doesn't go for deep TP. Goes for one in the bot tri-brush. Hacker looking for a smite. Call of the Forge God comes on in. And now everybody just grouped on up, but it's good enough. They're a death ball, and there's nothing FPX can do about it. They do get a Drake in the meantime as LP charges forward. Triple Gravitum there as LWX Featherstorm will not be enough. Taken down again. 3 kills for RNG, but it's in trade for a dragon for FPX.
Look, take the mountain. RNG don't care that it's going to be Mountain Soul Point for the side of FPX, because they're looking to end this game early with how these teamfights have been playing out. Great target selection coming out of the squad, playing front to back and just deleting all flank angles from FPX. You see Xiaolahu trying to get his CC onto LP. The flash initially just denies all of that, and Care not choosing to go to the ward at the blue buff meant that he was in a bit of an awkward situation where he wasn't able to get any of his spells onto the important carries of this team fight, as we see Tangyun popping off on the Ahri once again.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, when RNG all grouped up like that against the Annie, against everything else that FPX have, I was a little nervous for them, but there just wasn't any damage. There was no real follow-up, and Care just gets blown up instead. And suddenly FPX, after such a dominant early game, Now 2,000 gold behind. Yes, they've got the 3 Drakes, but are you actually going to be able to contest another Drake is the question. Because RNG, it feels like, are well and truly in control. Look at Wei right now. 5-1 and 2. He's almost
good.
on 2 items in 20 minutes as a jungler. That just never happens.
Yeah, and ideally for a champion like Nocturne, you want to be looking for those singular picks around the map where you can work off your solo laners or even Chill being alongside you. But when you're closing the lights and you're expecting 5 people out of RNG, it's not the most ideal cases for the Nocturne to fly in, and that's exactly what RNG has been able to pull off for the past 2 team fights, and this Nocturne pick is really struggling to make its full use.
Certainly is. I'm looking towards Breathe as well because he's broached that 13 level. I was going to say that 13 level mark, which doesn't quite make sense. He's level 13, is what I'm trying to say. He's upgraded his own mythic. Start to do those to the rest of the team as
Hacker's in bottom.
just going to get this. The blue ward comes out. It's spotted, but they just have no way of actually contesting. Hacker only just in paranoia range. This is going to go down. This is going to be smited. RNG just waltz in and take a free Baron for themselves. Can they escape with the fight? A knock up from Breathe. They don't need to escape. They're fighting this one front to back. Look at the chakrams on LP right now. There's no way that you can fight this. The feathers are huge though. And perhaps a turnaround for FPX. 1-for-1 here, 4v4 on the map as Tanguyen looks for more, but the charm wide. Chocho escaping with his life.
The TP from
coming on
Breathe?
through. Breathe rejoining the fight here as Wei steps forward to buy space for LP. Baron taken an RNG. Don't bat an eye at FPX's engage.
Huge misstep from Hacker, showing in that bottom side, and RNG just forcing the Baron in an instant with those chakrams available for LP. But now with the Baron available and in the hands of RNG, I'm not too sure how FPX is going to deal with that wave clear, but we'll take another look. LWX honestly put out a lot of orders, but Breathe just wasn't dying. Man lived on 1 HP as well and gets that successful flash ultimate onto LWX as well. But LP on the Sephiroth, green and white, no one's touching him. And although it was a 1-for-1 trade, they still have 4 Baron buffs in their pockets, and they continuously look for engages because you don't have that Featherstorm, which is an extremely long cooldown for Xayah. Shaw, who does go wide with the ultimate. I'm not too sure about that one, buddy.
No. Oh, that was rough. Taken down, Call of the Forge got across the team as Xiaolahu. I mean, what is there to say? What is there to say? Just taken out. Now RNG. They've still got 30 seconds of Baron. This tier 2 at minimum will be taken. They can guarantee themselves that amount, Drake, but they can just leave it up on the map, honestly. It's not a priority for them. They ain't getting sold this game. They're looking to end the game far before a soul comes on in, but could just grab the Drake on the way out before the recalls. Try and make something happen to disrupt that clean team fight, but if RNG play their cards right, there shouldn't be much FPX can do about it.
I mean, Breathe now level 15. He's going to catch Care off guard.
Oh, the knock-up actually lands as well. Moonlight Vigil leaves something to be desired, but it's not going to matter as LP does finish the kill off in the end. It's pick for RNG. Just as Baron is about to spawn onto the map, Care will have TP when he respawns, but I don't know if that'll be enough. I think RNG might be able to just run straight at that Baron, or at very least, get complete and utter vision control of the area.
There's a sneaky ward in that dot bush for FPX to work off. It is going to get sweeped. Double pink wards coming out of RNG. LP sitting on the green and white as well. They're just going to look to rush this, but this is going to be a last hurrah from FPX if they want to stay in the game.
4v5, look at Tanguyen, Spirit Rush over the wall, wants to try and find LWX, not giving away his position just yet, but will finally do so just to grab Xiaolahu. Another pick for RNG. Can they find anything more? Solo lane is being picked off one by RNG. The recess there! Featherstorm from LWX. Good reactions on the Xayah. Keeps himself alive, but that's a huge cooldown.
Featherstorm's gone. Hook lands.
No. It's a bouncy castle here, and you can't dodge that charm with no Featherstorm. LWX trying to protect his support. Goes it forward for the heal, but can't do it. And RNG find 2 more clean picks. That's going to be Baron. And honestly, Kitty, at this point, I feel like that might be game.
I mean, Wei and Tanguyen are having a fantastic game 1 so far. Although Tanguyen not having a kill so far at the 27-minute mark, man sitting on 10 assists and he's landing a lot of charms onto LWS. We'll get another replay of how we have the Ahri wrapping around towards the bottom side and forcing LWX to step back, and that just isolates Xiaolaohu by himself, even having the flash. I feel like the Scion is really struggling in all of these team fights, because when you do play with the space and RNG, having that green and white weapon in the hands of in LP, I mean, this Scion pick just looks like a bit of a goofball when it comes to straight up 5v5s because of how well they do the spacing. Meanwhile, making up for his early game and landing the double CC onto the bottom lane as well. No vision whatsoever for FPX to work off, and that is becoming their biggest downfall when it comes to the late game.
Yeah, I kind of respect LWX a little bit there. Like, even though he just dies, like, Chocho's going in and he's like, you know what, buddy? Where's Zyrakan? I'm going in with you. Tries to make the 2v5 happen. Obviously can't make that 2v5 happen, but I respect the attempt. As now RNG with another Baron under their belt, and will be getting themselves a second Drake. Everything looking just peachy for them. And I will say FPX, you know, holding on for a fair amount of time considering how long RNG has been ahead for now. But with a scaling composition like this, RNG not exactly playing the fastest game of League of Legends themselves. They can slowly but surely bleed FPX out now. They've got all of the objectives on the map. They're pushing all 3 lanes now. You can see Breeze headed up top. You got your 1-3-1 fully in order. And they can slowly but surely try and choke FPX out of this game. And in fact, LP moves up to the top side to guarantee this tier 2.
And you also have the level 17 coming online for Breathe, upgrading those ornament items for both Wei and LP as they slowly work towards this base. But I feel like FPX, they're slowly running out of options. Force a numbers advantage with Kair's Flash, which is going to be coming up very soon, because you can't be waiting any longer as Tang Yuan. He's going to slowly get this mid-wave in as well and look for double inhibitors for the side of RNG.
Now look to try and finish these inhibs off. Everybody grouping up on the top side for FPX. It looks like they want to try and force a fight, but I'm not even sure if they'll... LP, man.
It's okay. I didn't see anything.
There have been some dodgy moonlight vigils this game. Potentially a pick in the mid lane. It's on towards... Yeah, but they get him. It's a kill for Kair. Tang Yuan goes down. And Hacker now, can they punish? Can they find a turnaround? RNG. LP actually being zoned away by Xiaolaohu, but he's just getting shredded. Xiaolaohu cannot zone the Aphelios. And it's RNG to turn the fight around. Even though it looked so good, the pick onto Tang Yuan, LWX Featherstorms just to stop the chase. Him and Chocho left alone. They've gone for 1 2v4 this game. Will they go for another one? LP charging forwards. This will be game if they can't find that fight. LWX getting those feathers out. Pops the G8 for Wei. There's the clone gone as well, but LP charging forwards now will finish the job. A hook from Lumao sets it all up. And that's going to be game. RNG, a dominant mid-game, leads to a reasonably clean victory.